So if you've been to the YouTube comments section, or if you've watched a YouTube video which complains about something modern, you're bound to find at least one person who's ranted about it, complain about trends, and complain about how certain things are trendy, and because they're trendy, that thereby means that trends are inherently this evil thing. Now, a lot of this has to do with bandwagons. For example, when people flock over Nicki Minaj's new album, and when people flock over the latest video game, that may just have a little bit more hype than it should have. Or maybe it has way too much hype to begin with. However, does you finding one trendy video to be annoying necessarily mean that trends are this bad thing? Now, I will counteract them with this one point that I'd like to bring up. Trends are important. Trends do define our culture. Now, whether that be a positive way or a negative way is really up to interpretation. The fact is, if trends didn't exist, we wouldn't find certain things. For example, Grand Theft Auto 5 was a huge trend. It was very trendy. In fact, it was one of the most well-spoken about games ever. It has a huge map, many gameplay mechanics, which people love to this day, even though it came out in 2013. This is a game which, to this day, I still play consistently and love. And how did I find that? Because people spoke about it. Because it was a trend. Without our culture talking about Grand Theft Auto 5, I would have never seen it. I would have never played the game, ever. I would have never even heard of the game. The fact is, giving a game exposure is important. Spreading it around to people and showing them it is what gets games popular. For example, Batman, another video game, and in fact a franchise in general, which is loved by many, and rightfully so. Batman is a cool character, along with the other characters involved. That's why it's trendy. People talk about it because it latches onto them and they enjoy it. Trends can help out our culture. Trends can help us out to find new things. And that's one of the reasons why trends are a good thing. The thing is, you'd be lying if you said you didn't find one thing because of a trend. I'm not saying that every single trend is good. What I am saying is that they're necessary. It's necessary that trends exist. Now, granted, there will be that one thing which is overspoken about to such an annoying extent to where you dislike it because of how overexposed it is. However, I'm not trying to justify people overpraising it. What I'm saying is that trends are important. People speaking about it popularly in a way which feels natural is fine. And by hating all trends, it just makes you come off as a bitter asshole. By finding every single trend bad, just out of spite because maybe you didn't like Nicki Minaj's new album, or you didn't like Skyrim. So you choose to channel that and put it into hating all trends. And come on, let's face it. Just because certain things might be over-talked about doesn't mean that they're bad. The same goes with movies. For example, Fight Club. I recently watched that, and it's an amazing movie. It's a good movie. And do you want to know how I knew about that movie? Because people spoke about it. Because Fight Club is so culturally acclaimed. And it's so well known in our culture. That's how I know the movie. Because so many people speak about it. And it managed to catch my attention, and what do you know, it's one of my favourite movies. Instead of trying to be a hipster who goes against the mainstream culture and chooses to find stuff which is indie, is inadvertently making that a trend. Hipsters are a trend. Instead of hating everything that comes out in our culture, maybe instead of being a bitter faggot that just chooses to hate everything which is well known, maybe learn to realise that you're a fucking hypocrite, because there's plenty of stuff out there which you can appreciate. And do you want to know why you appreciate it? because someone exposed you to it, because it was spoken about, whether it be to a great maximum or whether it be to a small extent. There's always going to be that one thing which you've been exposed to due to a friend talking about it excessively. There's always going to be that, and it's fine because it's necessary. People aren't going to find stuff if we just stop praising stuff, if we just stop talking about certain stuff, if we just stop finding stuff good. So instead of sticking your head in the sand, learn to appreciate our culture.